Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Capital Convo. Today I am hosting your girl Laura. I'm here with Bea. Say hello, Bea.
Hello.
And we're here with our amazing intern Ava. Say hello, Ava.
Hi.
And today what we're going to be talking about is school, education, uni, the future. Ooh.
Yeah, because Ava's doing her internship here and she is currently in year
10.
So
Wow.
that means that you're doing your GCSEs, right?
Yeah.
And so
GCSE as well.
that's
I remember
long
that.
behind me and Laura, but we are here to talk about it all. It's been fun. We're reflecting. We're reflecting on our past,
On our
school
past.
days.
Oh God. That
What we're
feels like
going to be
ages ago.
what we're going to be starting with, Laura.
So what I was going to ask firstly is what GCSEs are you taking?
I'm taking graphic design, art, history, and German.
Amazing. So there's like a whole load of combination of different things.
I
Yeah.
have literally art history wasn't an option. Wait, art slash.
Art and history, like, separate.
Separate,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like art history. My friend did that at like university. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
that's cool. You
crazy.
could take that for GCSE.
And what we're going to talk about today is like obviously GCSEs are coming up. That means you got to revise. I know that the dreaded word
Yeah.
revision. I hate that word. I hated doing it myself. But obviously there are different ways to do it. So what we're going to talk to you about today is if there is any way that you find revising easier, or even if you want us to give you some ideas of what we did to help us revise.
To be honest, I'm also revising at the moment, but for my driving theory test because I still haven't passed. I have not
Oh.
attempted yet, to be fair, but I haven't passed, and I've been revising for my
Wow.
theory. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are your techniques? Would you say for revision? Like, what is the best way to revise for you?
I usually read through and then make shorter notes on what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So do you make notes like on certain categories? Like, do you do it in different colors? Like, what is the way that you
Are you
go about
you're
it?
handwriting all your notes as well, or are you typing them?
I handwrite my notes because I feel like I take it in better than typing
Yeah,
it.
no,
That's for
definitely.
sure. Yeah, just because
And-
I'm so slow.
And then
Yeah.
I like color code it with like different highlighters of like different parts of it, I guess.
Oh, that's good.
Do you ever shorten those again, or do you read through those notes over and over?
Well, once I've done the notes, like I'll make flashcards and like the
Oh.
flashcards.
See, she's got it on lock.
She's got a three-step process down.
Honestly, when I was doing GCSEs, I wasn't the best student, and the way I started to revise was like all at once. And I feel like doing the notes and making sure that it's like visually pleasing, I feel like is definitely the way, because I'm guessing you're like a visual learner. You like doing art, you do history,
Yeah.
etc. Like this. Like, you're obviously more into the visual type of thing. So I feel like flashcards and the note taking with the different colours is very like, you know,
Definitely.
the good way.
I remember I used to do obviously flashcards like you're saying, but digitally. I had
What, you do
I
it on
had-
the computer?
yeah, I had an app called Quizlet,
Oh.
and you typed out, and it's flip cards basically,
Oh.
and you could use it without the internet. And my mum, I know I should not be complaining about this, but she for some reason would forget every exam period I ever had. So she would book like a holiday, even if it was like just going to my grandma's house, but like we'd be coming back the day before an exam. So I didn't have any time at home, and often I was traveling in a car or we were driving places, and I found it I'd get car sick if I was reading notes, like papers, like shuffling papers around. And I know people get car sick like looking at their phone and stuff, but I would just Quizlet and do flip cards.
Yeah, we use Quizlet now. It's quite helpful.
Yeah, I think I don't know why that's.
Or the
I
Kahoot
guess,
thing. Is that still a thing?
What is
Kahoot?
it? What was that?
I think it's a bit the same like Quizlet. It's like Kahoot, but you do it like as a class, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
have all of the answers, and you have to choose, and then yeah, it's quite
Probably
good.
that sounds very similar.
Yeah.
I feel
worked
like
for
that
me,
helped me
though.
learn a lot.
Yeah, it
But
helped
you
me-
sort of have to write the answers then. So.
Yeah, it really depends, because that helped me learn things like quotes for English and helped me
Yeah.
learn case studies for psychology. But I think entire subjects like you're saying, I definitely had to write out to get
Yeah.
the whole process of what does that say, going back and forward, making sure I'm spelling stuff right. That whole process just meant I learned it more.
Yeah. I feel like the more you go over it, it's like learning a song though, isn't it? The more you sing that song or you listen to that song, you start to learn the lyrics, and you don't know how you're learning these lyrics, but it's because you've heard it so many times, it's like stuck in your head. You want to talk about,
repetition.
So it does actually work. And I feel like I remember at school we had days where they taught us certain ways to learn. So it would be like looking around the room, for example, and like the door would be one thing that you had to learn. Say there was like a list of things.
Mhm.
You would remember, oh, the door in the room is, I don't know, like an art person, like person's name or whatever.
Like
and you
Van
had to remember,
Gogh.
like Van Gogh, and then the window would be something else. So you'd be able to visually look around the room and be like, oh, I remember if I look at the door, that means this person or whatever. And I found that really helped me because
that's memory palace technique. They
because
used to teach us. I could not do that, God. That's impressive.
because I'm really dyslexic, I found writing all the notes and stuff was fine, but after a while, and I have ADHD as well, so it's like really hard to concentrate, but it was like if I was writing all the notes and I was trying to learn it, I honestly would get bored. I wouldn't want to like read it. I wouldn't take it in. I'd sit there reading the same page over and over and over and over because I'd never actually read it. So I feel like the visual things, like note taking, flashcards and stuff is really good, but for those who might find it harder to concentrate,
yeah, it's true.
It's
I mean,
easier.
it is. Yeah.
That's like a pretty cool way to learn it. Like different.
especially if you know that where the exam hall or whatever you're going to be in, and there's certain things in there that you can look at and be like,
a chair,
so you know, oh well, there's going to be a chair, there's going to be a table, there's going to be a clock in there, there's going to be a curtain or whatever.
Even people in your year probably as well, like actual individuals.
I definitely think that helped me a lot.
I never thought about that. I mean, to be fair, I don't think I have the actual memory capacity to do that.
To be fair, I didn't think I did either, but when obviously you have to learn it, it's sort of like doing the flashcards, but it's less like words. It's more for lists, I guess, rather than anything else. Or it could be like for when I used to do essays, I'd think, oh, my first point's the door, and that means this and this, so I've got to write that first. It was sort of like that.
Okay, yeah,
it did really help me.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, so if you want to try that.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. But moving on from that, I feel like there's so much to learn for GCSEs. There's so much to learn for every single subject. It's a lot to like all take in. But obviously you're learning those subjects. You've chosen them for your GCSEs, or when you choose your A levels, you're going to be choosing different subjects. But what we wanted to talk about was, is there anything that you would like to learn at school that you don't necessarily you don't necessarily get to learn? For example, like learning how to be good with money, or learning how to do taxes, or learning how to invest in things. Like we as a whole,
more life skills basically.
As at school you learn the history and maths and all of this, and like it's great to learn that, but there's some things that I learned at school that I know I have not taken on into the like real world as such. But
I'd say a lot of those, going off that, sorry, just before you answer, when I was at university, one of the ones for psychology was applied psychology, and I feel like what they could do for subjects that obviously exist and that you have to take, e.g. like maths and English, I mean English language potentially, but applied those subjects, so applied maths might be banking, it might be investments, it might be tax returns, it might be that, where it's a module within maths that's life skill related, because that way I guess you're not really taking away from the subject, but you're adding a module that's more flexible and is more applied or applicable to like life basically.
No, definitely. Is there anything that you would think, oh, you know what, I'd really love to learn that, even if it's not to do anything with like future plans or whatever, if it's just a subject that you would be fascinated to learn certain things about? Is there anything that you would think, oh, that'd be quite sick to learn?
Well, I don't know, like I like the subjects that I picked, like I'm interested in those things, but I think it would have been helpful to learn more of the like life skills and things. That's good,
because obviously they have that PSHE. Sorry, I don't actually know how to say it. So I was just checking.
Telling Laura earlier today about PSHE, she's very confused.
And I know that you learn certain things in that, but I feel like they could have a better variety of things. That could be maybe something that schools take on board, and they're like, oh, you know what, maybe we actually do teach them life skills because they're going to need it when they leave school. It's not all just like
part of that might be government legislation, because as you were saying, we were asking you about your PSHE days, and you were saying you did like gambling and like addiction, and I did that at mine as well. So I think and obviously we went to school at, I'm not saying they're wildly different times, but GCSEs aren't the same anymore, so I'd assume that they might have developed other areas too. And I'm not being funny, but I think I would have thought they might have moved on from gambling as a PSHE, but just because not that it isn't relevant, because it is, and I know gambling rates have gone up because gambling addiction was added to the DSM-5 as a something that was diagnostic manual, and so it's obviously increasing. But at 15, that is not what I was struggling with, if I'm being honest. That is not what I was in debate. Maybe later down the line, but there's definitely things that should be taught at 15 that are far more important and
I think one
relevant.
of the main things that I wish I had learned back then was, firstly, how to save money, because when you're young you just want to spend your money that you get, whether it's from
also
your
depending
birthday
on
or
how
whatever.
your parenting or home life is, you don't know what
Like,
that is.
Learning to save money so that you are able to go out into the world, especially when you reach uni age, which obviously we'll talk about in a second. It's like, I think that's when you finally do actually get to branch out. You're not with your family, you're on your own doing your thing. Obviously you're enjoying uni life, but you've also got to be careful with your money. You've got to be able to afford certain things. You've got to make sure that you're on time. It's all of those sort of skills that I think that should be taught at a younger age than just finding out suddenly and then being like, oh my god, I have to pay rent this month and I've literally spent all my money on cocktails. What the fuck?
that does, I guess you do learn relatively quickly with money when you're at uni about overdrafts. Yeah. But not necessarily taxes even. I don't think I was taught that.
But unis. Let's talk about unis.
Yeah, go into unis. Any questions about unis?
I did enjoy uni. I had a good uni that I went to. It was fun. I feel like I did really well, actually, considering, we won't talk about that. But, like, I feel like from GCSE year onwards,
that is when you start thinking
about it. And I feel like that is a young age to start thinking about, I want to do this at uni.
Are you excited or worried for uni?
I'm quite excited for uni. Yeah.
What is it that you're excited about? Like
a bit more freedom, I think, because you're a bit further away and it's sort of a new experience.
Are you looking at not that you would be looking at unis, but are you looking in, like, if you're thinking about it, do you want to go further from home? Like, are you looking to go far from home, or you're just like, just away from home is fine for me?
I would like to be not too far away, but maybe like an hour and a half, kind of 2 hours. So it's like close enough that you can go back, but
go home.
It is a new place.
It's the inconvenience to have to go. That's what's stopping you go back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
No, I feel like I agree. I went to Kingston Uni, and I used to live in Kingston, so didn't really branch out. But I had been living on my own before that, so I feel like I'd already experienced living on my own. Yeah. So I feel like it is something that you should. I wouldn't say should do, because there's obviously loads of other options. But this is what I was trying to talk about, is that I feel like from a young age, you're expected to choose subjects that you may be interested in. And then obviously A-levels is what builds on to where you want to go to uni. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in those years, you're not told about other options as such. It's more like you need to do this subject and get this grade to get into uni, to get a degree, to get a job. But there's so many other ways that you can go about it. And I feel like that's something that's not spoken about as much as it should be, especially at GCSE year, I think.
That's what I think is weird, because when you're at uni, they go on about experiences and going to do, like, doing, not, what's it called when you do your work experience? But, like, as part of the degree.
Oh, placement.
Placement, yeah. They go on about, like, how good placement year is. And I know loads of people that did placement year that found it super helpful. But I'm not being funny, that is the equivalent of not going to uni and just doing that. Like, you could do that for 3 years. Yeah. And obviously it wouldn't be a placement year, but it would be work experience, basically. Yeah. And it would be experience in the field. And I know definitely for, obviously there's certain career paths where going to university is, like, you need a degree to get that job. Well, that's what, if you know exactly what you want to do, for sure. Yeah. But it's definitely not, and I think it's becoming less essential because of the amount of people that are going to university. Yeah. What really makes you stand out is work experience. And I was saying, obviously, unfortunately, what I found is that a lot of people that did that at university were giving up a lot of their summer holidays and spring holidays. Yeah. Which I don't want to recommend to people, because I didn't enjoy my university experience because I wasn't doing, like, all the fun stuff that everyone else was doing. But I mean, it is a good thing to do. If you know what you want to do and you can get work experience, or you want to, or you find time for it while still being able to have fun, I'd say it's the best route to go down.
And talking about, obviously, the idea of uni, do you feel that there is pressure on you in your GCSE years to think about the future so quickly? Like, are people in your family being like, oh, I think you need to work really hard to get this grade so that you can then do this for A levels, etc.? Or is it your teachers like, oh, this will help you build your future? I remember a lot of teachers telling me that, and I was literally like, oh my god, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I was like, I need help. But I just feel like the pressure is on. Do you find that
there is a lot of pressure to like know what you want to do? And because obviously you picked your GCSEs, and when I was picking my GCSEs, there was a lot of like, what GCSEs are you taking in order to go forward for that job with those GCSEs? But I think you should just pick them for what you enjoy, and not like thinking about how it would help you sort of in the future.
100%. I agree.
I went so broad on all of mine for the reason that they kept trying to say, what do you want to do? And I didn't know. So I did maths, English, biology, psychology, because I was going, maths, cool, check. A science, check. Humanities, like, well, English isn't humanities, but
I can't even remember
was
what
going
I did
so broad
GCSEs.
because I didn't know. And then I had design technology.
Is that for
GCSEs? I was doing 5. That was ASs. I did 5, and then I dropped one because I was like, let me just do all of these, see what I want to do,
and then see which ones are better.
because I didn't know, and they kept saying you need to narrow it down. But at the end of the day, dependent on what you are doing at university, I mean, obviously some have more requirements than others, but you need good grades. So cool. If you have to do maths and a science to do if you want to do medicine or something, obviously that's a very different route. But if you're not doing any conventional thing like that, just doing the subject that you enjoy and then getting good grades in it doesn't matter. If you want to do art and design and English because you want to take English, it doesn't matter that you're doing art and design, as long as you're going to get A's or B's or whatever you're aiming for your uni, because it's all good and well doing maths, physics and English, but if you're taking English and you've got an A in English and 2 C's, that isn't really not going to help you out trying to get into a good uni for English.
I chose some weird subjects. I think I did choose just because I wanted to do them rather than like that will help. I did drama. That was fun. I don't know if you've seen drama at GCSEs, but they're funny. But yeah, for some reason I took it really seriously. That was the only class I did really well in, actually. I got an A star. Drama was great. I did business, but that's obviously helpful anyway. Business. I did geography. Hated it. Fucking hated it. Oh my god, I hated it.
I only hated half of geography. I hated human geography.
I like learning about volcanoes and that sort of shit, but everything else I didn't fucking like.
I'm with you on that. Human geography.
I used to get so confused.
Basically politics.
And I can't remember what else I did. Business and...
What are you talking about? AS?
Spanish.
GCSE?
Española.
Oh.
Sí.
You're not good for languages. You're doing, do you say German?
German. It's really
Ich bin
difficult.
Laura.
Absolutely not. You would not find me doing a language if I didn't have to. I did French, but that's because I had to. There was no options. I'm telling you right now, I would not have been doing French.
Yeah, I didn't.
And shout out to my mum, who basically did that GCSE for me.
Shout out you, mate.
Yeah.
We love you.
That's it.
Big love to you.
Yeah, I think they might have changed it now, but I can tell you for sure that French writing and that French oral was not written by me.
Yeah, I did not enjoy doing Spanish oral. Fuck me.
I mean, I had to obviously do it, but the actual stuff that I was memorising, I didn't write. I couldn't do it.
German is definitely the hardest one that I do, and I think if I was going to choose again, I might have not picked it because
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really difficult.
What would you have chosen instead though?
Yeah.
That's the question.
I don't know.
Did they offer a lot of like different types of classes? Because I know at my school we had media, which is great.
Yeah, we didn't have media. For GCSE?
You don't have that. Yeah, media for GCSE.
There's a lot of like schools around like our area that do a lot more options for GCSEs. So we didn't have anything like media or like photography or anything.
We didn't have that either. We had very straight courses.
We did have more sort of DTs though, so I might have picked something like textiles. Cool. Yeah.
See, textiles. Everyone loved textiles. I did
My
a little bit of textiles.
Textiles was an option for me.
I did textiles and art and design, and then I got kicked out and did media instead. But I wanted to do the media course. They just didn't have like space for me. But then they made space because I literally
was messing around.
I wasn't messing around. I did really enjoy it, but I just wasn't like. I didn't want to do it in my future. I was just there for the fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I liked doing it, but it was...
The problem is I wanted to do it for my future. That was my problem, because it was a thing that came most naturally to me and I enjoyed it and I was good at it. but it's a bit like, I don't want to compare them, but it's a bit like music or art in that it's a very competitive industry. You have to be very good to be good at it. And I was very good in my year, but I kept thinking, what about worldwide? What about countrywide? I don't think I'm amazing.
Yeah,
I'm academically good at this and I enjoy it. And I was going, watch when you get to a university where that's everyone's favourite subject, where everyone is the best at it. I'm going, I don't think I'm comparatively amazing. I think I'm very good for where I'm at, and for the mark scheme I can do it. I'm like good at that. But I was thinking, I don't think I'm as creative as, even like other schools even. I don't know. I just couldn't imagine I was that good at it. And so I just thought, I don't want to narrow my options down that much.
So with uni, obviously we're talking about GCSEs, we're talking about the courses that you can choose, or not courses, subjects, sorry, get confused, the subjects that you choose. Whereas I feel like we've discussed before the fact that a lot of people chose the uni for the uni rather than the course itself. And I feel like
that's a big one.
At school you decide the subjects because those are the subjects that are going to help you obviously grow in an industry that you want to go into or whatever, something you enjoy. Whereas at uni it's like, I went to loads of unis viewings. I went and saw different unis.
I would recommend
and I was
that.
like,
I
was like, this is great. And I was like, I love this. And then I narrowed it down to a few unis. They all did media. They all did the same sort of topics, everything like that. I'm more hands-on, so I wanted to do more coursework rather than essay-based.
Definitely important.
And I was like, cool, so these 3 unis have
assessment ways, that's true.
Assessment 100% is
cool
something
hours,
you need to think about.
Cool hours as well.
And I then was like, do I like the uni? And I went to one that was in Bristol, UE.
Yeah, I went
Bristol.
to Bristol.
I liked that one, but I wasn't 100% with it. Kingston, I just liked the fact it was closer. I already lived in that area, like on my own anyway, so it was just like less travelling, all of that. And I thought, you know what? I liked the course as well. And it was sort of like I chose the uni more than the course because I knew that the course was similar. So it was just one of those things, whereas like in GCSEs, I chose my GCSEs because I wanted to do them rather than being like, oh my God, I can go to Kingston Uni one day if I do these.
See, I definitely chose mine because of the course. And I think that backfired because I don't want to say I wasn't a typical student, because I'm sure there's plenty of students that I went to Leeds, and I'm sure there was plenty of students that went to Leeds that are like super hardworking, and like, I mean, loads of people there are super hardworking, but I wasn't as social in the ways that Leeds students are social, as everyone knows, as anyone else. Like I didn't drink until I went to uni, I don't take drugs, and I literally went to the most druggy university in the UK and I did not get on well in my social life, like at all. The course was so good and it was good for what I was doing, but it didn't make sense considering my other options were like Warwick, Exeter, Bath, for Leeds to really be on that list from a social point of view. But course wise it was up there. Bath is like the best, but I definitely chose mine because of the course. And not that you should consider your social life over your course, but you do have to, like you said, you're moving away from home, and you do have to be you do have to have a relatively good social life to even be able to focus on your grades and like focus on things not being too dramatic and drama. Like your life has to be pretty drama free for you to be succeeding.
But that's the same with GCSEs as well. I feel like school was very dramatic.
Yeah, depending on where you go, for sure.
Especially girl drama. Wow. Fuck me, that's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to deal with.
Yeah, so I definitely say it's something to consider, especially if you know people that are going. I didn't have any friends that were going to Leeds either. So if you know people that want to do your course or want to go to similar universities to you, that might be a shout. I mean, I should have got the memo when in my first and second semester, the people that I was closest to all dropped out of Leeds because they didn't like it. So I should have paid attention to that and been like, oh, the people that are like me also don't enjoy it. So I should have clocked on to that. But
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I eventually had a good time. Boom.
Okay, so obviously you're here as an intern. You're doing a bit of work experience. Work experience, let's talk about that, because that I think is a very important subject. I think it's not a subject in itself, but work experience is so important now.
Yeah.
It's so important. When you apply for a job, they ask for a minimum amount of work experience, whether that's you've actually had a job after uni, or that is you've done certain amount of time doing the things that they're asking for. And I think that every single person should do work experience, as you were saying earlier, either in uni holidays, summer holidays, at school. Obviously you've been able to do it now, and I just think it's great. And I think that you can learn a lot, even just socially learn a lot as well. It's not always about the skills that you learn, because you could choose a work experience that isn't entirely going to fit what you want to do in the future. But it's the fact that you've experienced office life, you've experienced working in a team, you've experienced things that maybe you'd be learning about social. Obviously you're learning social with us or whatever.
But you're also learning about things like, based on what you just said, things that you don't want to do. Like, even if you're not enjoying it, because I remember doing work experience in e-commerce, and I thought like I wanted to kind of go down that route, and I absolutely hated it. Yeah. But I was thinking, like, all my family and like friends that when I was asking about it, when they were asking about it, I was saying I don't enjoy it. They were like, well, now that's not what you want to do.
Well, this is what I've got to say to you for that.
Okay.
You see, when you go into a shop and you want to buy some trainers, you don't just buy them, you try them. So what I'm going to say to you is try them before you buy them.
Yeah. Telling me.
And then you'll know whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
Try before you buy it, but this is the takeaway message.
Okay. This is the takeaway message of today, guys. Thank you very much. I'm joking. But I think it is definitely worth getting work experience, making sure that you actually have experienced work life, because then you can be like, you know what, I am not ever doing that again, or yes, I would really want to do this. Now I know where I need to go next time. Oh, I like this work experience. Now I can look for a company that's similar, get a bit of work experience with them, and then you will build it up, and then when you get to uni, you'll fly through.
Is there any other things that you want to try?
I think like I want to try other works with like different areas of like graphics, because obviously it's such like a wide
industry.
So I'll do that, and then I think work experience is just helpful, so I'll probably do lots more of it, because it teaches you like loads of like skills that you wouldn't get from anywhere else.
100%. No, I totally agree.
I remember now that you just said that, another reason that I wasn't sure about doing design is because I went to Conran Designs, which is a really big design house like in London. They do designs with like John Lewis and like their architects as well, which I was lucky enough had to enter like portfolio doing like a competition for a couple of people to go in and do work experience, so I got to go. And when I was there, they had like not interns but people that were sort of like paid interns and like assistant roles, and those people were sort of showing us around and like helping us and giving us stuff to do and kind of watching us. And they were taking us on site visits to like change certain areas, and the people that were showing us around were like, don't do this. They literally said that to us. They went, especially architecture, unless you sorry, I don't mean to shit on architecture, but it's like 7 years. It's basically like being a doctor. It's so long. And this guy had basically done the 7 years and was doing the internship, and he's like, I really don't like, he's like, if you know and you've done other work experience in it and you've enjoyed it, do it. He's like, I'm not trying to put you off, I'm just saying it is not at all I signed up for or what I wanted to do. So he was like, you have to be 100% sure, you have to want to do it, you have to be dedicated. And that's when I started doubting whether I thought I was that good and that passionate. Because I was, but you just don't know.
You don't know.
You just don't know.
I went to a company called Bloomberg Media, who obviously are like this huge media company in America and in London. And I went and did, like, I did a whole week there. And every day I tried out, like, the different sections, different areas, different faculties, as they call it. And I did radio, I did TV, I did presenting. I did like music editing, I did software editing, which I bloody hated, and I also did camera skills, etc. And then I got to go sit with someone who was doing it's sort of like the Forbes list, but it's for like the Bloomberg list of the richest people in UK, America, etc., etc. And I found it fascinating. And I asked him loads of questions. And then I was like, you know what? It's more the social side that I find interesting.
Yeah.
The more the communication side. I did enjoy doing radio. I enjoyed doing the TV. I enjoyed doing production. But what stood out to me was the social stuff, and then that clicked in my head and I was like, oh, I do like media as a whole, but what I want to go into is to do social media as a whole. Like, I'd rather do creative for social. And then that's where I was like, at uni, I was like, yeah, this is why I'm going to do this module. I'm going to do this and this, because this will help me learn for when I go out or whatever, and I can practice doing Photoshop and whatever.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, I think that's
senior social media manager. Yay. But yeah, this is why I think that work experience is so important, because like, to go back over it is, firstly, you get the skills. Secondly, you get to see what you do and you don't like, and it's just so good to have experience, and you can put it on your CV as well, which is obviously what people look at.
I also think you don't realise what you learn sometimes, because I know before when I've done interviews, and they've asked me questions like, can you give me an example of when you overcame a problem in the workplace? And if you don't have any experience of doing that, it's a bit of a difficult one, because you have to explain something that you did at like uni or something like that, and it's less, I don't know, it's a worse answer, I'd say, if you don't have a good application. And also you end up saying things that you don't even realise, because they're asking questions about things that you hadn't planned for, but then you realise that you have the experience to be able to answer the questions. And initially I didn't know that I had those answers until the questions were asked. And I think the more experience that you get, the easier interview questions like that become, because you just have examples. Yeah. Like, you don't have to think about it.
So what would you say you would take away from our discussion today?
Yeah.
On the spot.
Put you on the spot. This is a quite interview question.
I would say that, like, I need to do more work experience to like get like more experience of what it's like, and like prepare me for the future, obviously. And like, when I'm taking my A-levels, sort of like do it for what I enjoy, and not like try and focus down on like a couple of subjects that are gonna get me into the work. I think I just do what I want to do and see where that like takes me.
No, I completely agree. Amazing. I agree. What I was going to say is, anyone that's listening, if you feel like you don't know enough about uni, etc., don't call us, because realistically, we don't want to talk to you about uni. But obviously, as we've spoke about, I hope everyone takes things away from today, and hopefully we've said helpful things. I mean, we've experienced it. So
reach out to people, though, that can be helpful to you.
It's always good to talk to people. Ask as many questions as you possibly can.
Even if someone's on a forum, you can join university forums before you go and ask people questions that are in the halls that you're applying for, in the subject that you want. I remember doing that. I was so scared, but there's people that reply to you, and they're so informative. That's so helpful.
Oh, that's helpful.
Wow. Blown my mind today, and I'm not even at uni anymore. But thank you so much for listening, guys. Again, thank you, Ava, for being on our podcast. Really appreciate it. Thank you. It's good to have someone, obviously, in because I don't even remember doing my fucking GCSEs, so it's nice to actually have someone who's doing them and talk to them about what we've experienced. But yeah, if you guys are listening on Spotify, then keep listening, because we've got more coming. And listen to these podcasts on any platform that you're listening to them to. And thank you guys for listening again.
Bye.
Bye.